How stress affects the brain and nerves. It may seem there's nothing you can do about your stress level. The bills aren't going to stop coming either. There will never be more hours in the day for all your errands, and your career or family responsibilities will always be demanding. Heck, even the traffic situation doesn't help matters at all. But you have a lot more control than you think. What you might not recognize is that stress can have a significant impact on your brain. Within the face of stress, your brain goes through a series of reactions, some good and a few bad. Very, very bad. In today's video, I will be sharing with you a list of ways of how stress affects the brain and the nerves. If you're new here, consider subscribing to our channel. It's a very, very awesome channel. Feel free to share our videos to your friends and co-workers. Who knows, someone might just be in the need of the right content. And don't forget to click on the notification button, that little bell icon, so you will always be notified when we release new videos. And of course, feel free to comment. Ways that your stress level affects your brain and nerves. Number 1. Stress increases mental illness. In a study printed in Molecular Psychiatry, researchers found that chronic stress results in the long run changes within the brain. These changes, they suggested, would justify why those who experience chronic stress are also susceptible to mood and anxiety disorders later in life. The researchers performed a series of experiments watching the impact of chronic stress on the brain. They found that such stress creates a lot of myelin, which are producing cells, but also producing fewer neurons than traditional. The result of this disruption is an excess supply of myelin in bound areas of the brain that interferes with the temporal arrangement and balance of communication. The researchers found that stress may also have negative effect on the brain's hippocampus, that is, the center of emotion, memory, and the autonomic nervous system. Number 2. Stress changes the brain structure. Studies have revealed that chronic stress can lead to long-term changes in the structure and function of the brain. The brain is made up of neurons and support cells known as gray matter, responsible for higher order thinking such as decision making and problem solving. But the brain also contains white matter, which comprises of all the nerve fibers that connect with other regions of the brain in order to communicate information. The overproduction of myelin that the researchers observed due to the presence of chronic stress doesn't just result in a short-term change in the balance between white and gray matter, it can also lead to lasting changes in the brain's very structure. This is supposedly very bad. I'm not a doctor, but yeah, it sounds bad. Number 3. Stress kills the brain cells. Almost sounds like a movie title. In a study conducted by researchers from the Rosalind Franklin University of Medicine and Science, researchers discovered that one socially stressed event may kill new neurons within the brain's hippocampus, which has a major role in learning and memory. The team placed young rats during a cage with 2 older rats for 20 minutes. The young rat was then subjected to aggression from the additional mature residents of the cage. Later examination of the young rats found that they had cortisol levels up to 6 times over that of rats who had not practiced a nerve-wracking social encounter. Further examination unconcealed that whereas the young rats placed under stress had generated an equivalent range of neurons as those rats who had not practiced the strain, there was a marked reduction within the range of nervous cells per week. In other words, they confirmed that stress does kill the brain cells. In case you couldn't follow along, of course. Number 4. Stress shrinks the brain. Sounds like an episode. Chronic, everyday stress seemed to have very little impact on brain volume on its own. However, it could make individuals a lot susceptible to brain shrinkage once they are faced with intense, traumatic stressors. Associate Professor of Biobehavioral Health, Emily Ansell, opinioned that, in quotes, the accumulation of stressful life events may make it more challenging for these individuals to deal with future stress, particularly if the next demanding event requires effortful control, emotion regulation, or integrated social processing in order to overcome it. End of quote. Number 5. Stress hurts the memory. If you have ever tried to recollect the main points of a stress event, you are in all probability aware that stress will build events that may be tough to recollect. Even comparatively, minor stress will have an instantaneous impact on your memory, like having trouble in recollecting where your automobile keys are, or where you left your bag if you're running late for work. Also, stress has been shown to impede memory retrieval. For instance, studies have shown that exposure to worry impairs memory retrieval in kids. While stress is definitely a part of life that cannot be avoided in several cases, researchers do believe that by understanding specifically how and why stress impacts the brain, they will gain insight into preventing or maybe undergoing a number of the damage stress brings. For you, the average civilian in society, you could use this information to ward yourself off any unnecessary stress. My personal advice from me to you, if you know that there's an upcoming event that might raise your stress levels, try your best to meditate. Feel relaxed. Don't let anything bother you. After all, it's not the end of the world. I hope you remain in good health and I hope you stay safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you. I can't see you if you haven't subscribed, so do subscribe. And don't forget to comment. Alright, I'm going now. See you next time.